We're getting into the month of November. That's just a week. And for the first 3 or so years, we've had the Kenya International Sports Film Festival. This is an initiative of Mr. Aasif Karim, who has represented Kenya in the Davis Cup and also captain Kenya at the Cricket World Cup. So he's one man who's played for the national team into sports, and it's at the highest level, and we mean the global level. He started this off, and this week, the coming weekend, about 3-4 days of it, it's going to be a lot of intense conversations around sport and exhibition of some of the greatest films from around the world. Mr. Karim, very good to speak to you again. First, you could just give us a background on the concept of the Kenya International Sports Film Festival.
Thank you, Daniel. It's always a pleasure to have a chat with you, a lover of sports for this country, and doing a great job at KBC, and wonderful to connect with you this afternoon. Yes, the Kenya International Sports Film Festival concept came about 2013, 2014, when we had already done a documentary on my family, having had 3 generations to have played international sports for Kenya. And this documentary featured in international sports film festivals. So I was invited in a couple of them, and I went to India in 2013. And when the documentary was premiered there, and we were watching all these exciting sports movies from around the world, all of a sudden it struck to me that Kenyans have equally, if not better, records, history in sports over the last 50, 60 years. But there is hardly anything that we have documented, or we have made our unsung heroes the respect that they deserve. And so I said to myself that once I finished the coffee table book that I was doing on the same lines as the documentary, I would want to pursue this matter and organize a sports film festival. So that was the concept then. And so after the book was launched and the documentary in 2017, in 2018 is when we had the first event, where we had over 100 countries give us submit movies. Well over 1,000 movies were submitted, both in 2018, 2019, and also now for 2020, we have 108 countries. Well over 1,300 movies were submitted for this year. So that has been the concept of how this whole thing has been initiated.
You mentioned that it started, with 100 countries, 1,000 sports films of different lengths. How can you describe the growth of this film festival?
I mean, this film festival is growing in leaps and bounds by the year. As I said, when we started the first year, my concept then was to do it a one-off. But when we did it in 2018, the reception and the feedback and the encouragement that we received more from international than from local, we felt that let us pursue this further to see how we can inculcate to develop the film industry in this country, because if they're going to get into sports documentaries and sports movies of our unsung heroes, obviously you are creating employment, you are creating the film industry to grow, and for our sports situation also to grow, to inspire the youths. So we've consistently up to it, despite various challenges that we have to organize such a huge, humongous festival. But 2020 was unique as the global is facing this COVID-19. So obviously the first reaction was to postpone it. But as the days went and the months went towards April and May, the whole world changed, where technology came in such a huge play in our daily lives, where meetings are now held on various platforms. Messages are given through various platforms. So the team discussed it and looked at what are the potential possibilities of us also going the same way for this festival. And amazingly to say, while COVID-19 is a huge challenge, it also created an opportunity for us to create the first, and I think it's going to be a premier virtual sports film festival, possibly in Africa or even in the globe. And so we have used the technology, and the technology is now helping us even get panelists from different parts of the world that will be addressing different subjects. And so it has really taken us to a new level. I think it's going to be a phenomenal festival, because we've got some exciting panelists who are going to contribute very heavily to situations affecting sports in Kenya, in Africa, and the globe.
So we'll be coming to the panelists later in the conversation. But at the moment, Aasif, tell us about how entries are submitted and how you select the panel that does the panel of judges for this film festival, and the various categories of film that are awarded.
Correct. Yeah. What we have, we use a platform called Film Freeway, and sometime in June is when we go globally and ask for submissions, because that's a very huge platform that is connected with various film producers and directors from around the globe, where they use this platform to submit to various film festivals. So we have associated with the Film Freeway. And so that's the concept, and we give them about 3 to 4 months to submit the movies. And once the movies are submitted, the committee appoints a jury, a very independent jury, who go through the 3 layers of judging. We have the first layer of judging where they filter which movies have qualified with the regulations and the conditions that we place for somebody to submit. The second layer is then looked at by a different level of judges who go through the movies, and then they filter it further down to the final jury, who then looks at the final few to determine which are the top movies that need to be recognized and to be awarded and possibly to be screened at the film festival. So that's the system of how the submissions are done and how the judging is done.
About how many categories do you have at the moment when it comes to giving the awards?
We have about 12 to 15 awards that we give. For example, we have the best feature film over 40 minutes. We have a best short film under 40 minutes. We have the best documentary, which has to be over 40 minutes. Best short documentary under 40 minutes. Best short animation movie. Best director. Best cinematography. Best production design. Best screenplay. Best editor. Best sound. And of course, the Chairman's Award and the Safinas Foundation Award. And sometimes, if necessary, if it's a very tight situation among the juries, then we also give a jury's award. So it's about 13 to 15 awards that we give.
Well, it sounds very much like it's the Oscars of sports film in Africa.
Well, not sounds like it is. And I think we, as Kenyans, we should be extremely proud of what we have done. And I think in the next year or two, we will be at a much bigger level, and it will be an envy to the world of what we are doing. And I'm hoping that people get inspired, not only the sports industry, but also the film industry, to start now looking. And one of the main purpose is also for our Kenyan filmmakers to start looking at how sports can be taken to a new level by documenting the historical records and the legends that we have in this country. I mean, there was one conversation I was having with one of the youngsters, and I said, we need to do movies on a person like Kipchoge Keino or Naftali Temu. And his next question was, who are they? So I'm asking myself, if this young generation have no clue on who Naftali Temu is or who Kipchoge Keino is, it's a worrying factor. And the primary cause of that is that we have nothing in terms of documenting, in terms of a book or a biography or a documentary or a movie that we need to inculcate to these youngsters. So I think it's a wake-up call for the Ministry of Sports, for the Ministry of ICT, the Ministry of Heritage. They all need to wake up and try and get more serious on this matter, because we are going to lose a huge generation and a huge information that is priceless. And it's something that I think we will do a disservice to our unsung heroes.
Yes, we are in conversation with Aasif Karim. He is a man who has captained the Kenya cricket team at the World Cup. He played in '99 and also played in 2003 when he was awarded Man of the Match in a game against Australia. Kenya lost, but eventually the impact was felt. He has also played, tennis for Kenya at the Davis Cup. The Davis Cup is basically the World Cup of tennis. That's a level at which Aasif Karim has represented the country, and he's the founder of the Kenya International Sports Film Festival. And like he's mentioned, it's the Oscars of sports film in Africa. It is the only festival in Africa. We take a short break, and when we get back, we will be talking about some of the panel discussions that happened on the sidelines of the screenings of these films that have been submitted to the festival. We get back to the second part of our conversation with Aasif Karim. He is the founder of the Kenya International Sports Film Festival, and it is taking place virtually. And this is from the 32nd of October, and it will run through all the way to the 1st of November on Sunday, when there's going to be the awards gala later that evening. And after looking at the basics of the film festival, there is another part to the film festival, which is the conversations that happen. Various topics are discussed. And Aasif, first of all, from the panel discussions that you've had in 2018 and 2019, what has been the feedback? We've had cricket, which you obviously can't, avoid. We've had football, we can't avoid that. Arbitration is also another matter that is coming up. Plus, also, rallying, athletics, and anti-doping. What has been rather the feedback from the conversations from 2018 and 2019?
The concept of this festival and the discussions that do take place, various discussions and the various aspects that affect sports in the country, is something what I call a work in progress. It's not an event. It's a work in progress where people, first of all, need to be sensitized on what this whole concept is all about. It's something people need to understand what has been discussed, because if you look at it, once a year forum cannot make a huge impact overnight. So it's something that each association now needs to build up from there. They need to create more forums. They need to create more conferences. They need to create more what I call an open forum or a stakeholders discussion. And that's where now you're going to get a lot of good brains, people with experience that are going to share their wisdom, what they've gone through. And that will, I think, help what I call a snowball effect. It's going to start with a flake. We're still at the flake level. It's now building towards the snow. And so it's a matter of time when it's going to run in a big way. And it's important that all the stakeholders get involved in one form or the other. Not necessarily only in this film festival, but they all need to create their own forums of such discussions, because it's constant discussions, constant dialogue, constant accepting one another. We may have our differences, but we must accept for the common goal of the sport. And so it's a work in progress, and I'm hoping that as we are working on this discussion, that more people join in so that we can make this a great thing, because Kenya really is an envy at sports level. As I always give the example, that when Kenya goes to Commonwealth Games or when it goes to the Olympic Games, people don't discuss, will Kenya win gold? The discussion would be, how many goals will Kenya win this year? I mean, that is the impact that Kenya has made at international level. So we need to take it a few notches up, and that can only happen when all governance are put in place, our structures are put in place, when you got the good people who are shying away from the system to come back, but you need to create a good platform and an avenue, because there are some wonderful people in the sports industry who have done great service to this nation. But I think you have lost them because most people cannot accept the way things are going on. And experience is something that cannot be bought in a shop. An experienced sportsman is something he has earned over the years, and it's a priceless commodity, and it's important that we maximize before the sports person is in the grave. It's too late to talk about somebody gone and start recognizing him or talk about what he did. It's more of a comfort for yourself and the guilt that you have for what you did not do when the person was around. So just to let you know, I think it's a work in progress, and I think all stakeholders should come together and try and see that we can take our sports to a much higher level with improved governance, good development structure, good domestic sports. And obviously, if we have all those in place, money will come in a big way from sponsors, from corporates, because they need to see that structured in a correct manner.
Now, let me talk about the conversations for the year 2020 with specific focus on some things. One, we're looking at women in sports. The other one is grassroots football. I've looked at that panel. Disability in sport, and also sport as a force for social change and improvement. Talk about those four thematic areas.
Well, the first one is the women in sports. That, I think, is a very important subject because women play a very important role. in the society. And I think they need to be encouraged, because if you've got the women's support in each domestic house, it makes it much easier for the family to be more involved in sports. And obviously, as the women, they have challenges in terms of administration, in terms of playing sports. So it'll be good, because the people that are on the panel are very experienced people. I mean, we've got Tekla Rupe. I mean, that's an icon, not only for Kenya but internationally. You know, so you've got somebody of her experience who has done wonders for Kenya. We'll have plenty to share. We've got Elena Shiveka, who works at KBC, who has done phenomenally well also in sports, has a wealth of experience on how she can do. And then we've got Fatima Lianis from Spain, who also has a wealth of experience. We've got international panelists, as I said earlier. And so we're looking forward to not only that subject, but all the other subjects. Football, of course, is our passion in this country. It has huge controversies over the last few years. We're still going through controversy. There was an election last week. And I'm hoping that now that the elections are over, and I'm hoping that, that we can get things together now, because that's something that's passion on the grassroots. Grassroots people love football. The people in this country love their football. It's only unfortunate that our structures are not in place. So I think in any sport, for a sport to do well, it starts at the foundation, and the foundations means the grassroots. And the grassroots is very, very important to discuss. And the people who are on this panel have got wealth of experience on grassroots football. So it's going to be very interesting. And of course, we have a top moderator, Milton Yakundi, I think, who is phenomenal in his experience in sports journalism, and his passion in football is, is at the top. I mean, I still remember you were involved last year in the panel discussion on football, which was quite intense.
It was an ambush.
I mean, no, but that was, I know it was an ambush. You came in last minute and salvaged the situation. So we thank you for that. But I mean, that was a very intense discussion. And that was one discussion even though I was so occupied with so many other things during the festival, but I was very keenly following on the discussion, because this is something that's affecting all of us. And I'm hoping that from here, the development of football that they're going to talk about, and the development structure at the end of the day in every sport, more or less, is similar. So I think that wealth of experience that we have on this panel will give us a lot of insights, and it'll be a lot of message for the other sports disciplines in this country to kind of replicate on what is possibly available or what should be done to make a very effective development, because that is the key to success ahead. Your development must be solid, must be effective, and must be well structured to get the results that we're looking for as these youngsters grow. Then we have, various other discussions. We've got about 14 different discussions that we are having. We've got international panelists coming in. We're also talking about sports in film. And that's what I explained to you earlier, that one of the key purpose of this festival is for Kenyan filmmakers to start looking at how they can document and do documentaries, movies on our sports heroes, because that, I think, is very, very paramount for the legacy ahead.
Now,
obviously, there is also the discussion on Safari Rally. You know, that's a huge thing that's coming up that we are talking about. And again, we've got the top of the top joining us in this. We've got, Pete Njenga, Surinder Thetty, and Finis Kimathi. I mean, those are also icons of the rally industry in this country. They've done wonders to bring this back. It was unfortunate that COVID-19 made a postpone. Yesterday, they had a big workshop retreat in Mombasa to discuss this on this matter. So I think the Kenyans are excited. I think the global fraternity is excited, because Kenya has a very good history on Safari Rally. The days of Joginder Singh, Shekhar Mehta, Patrick Njiru, and many other beyond World Guard. When we were youngsters, those are the names that we used to follow. So I think that's exciting. It's also exciting for the economy. I mean, they're expecting about 6 billion shillings of money rolling through that period. So it's wonderful times ahead. If you can just put our things proper and get appropriate support, I think we can do wonderful in terms of promoting sports, which I again say it's a multi-billion-dollar industry for the last 20 years.
Now, when it comes to organizing this festival with the kind of panelists you have, a huge number of people, and people won't be coming in, but what kind of support do you get from, from commercial partners and also from the State Departments of Information, Communications and Technology, the State Department for Sports, and also the State Department for Heritage?
That's a good question, and we have been determined to do the festival irrespective of any support. The support has been very minimum, unfortunately, because partly because people are still not fully understanding the concept of what is going on. Partly is the lethargism in the system that we have. The only good support we received from the government was full support from the Ministry of ICT. Honorable Joe Mucheru was very categorical on this matter. He was extremely excited when I had a discussion with him because it's affecting his industry of film development. And His Excellency, the President, is also very determined to promote the film in film, getting people to come in and film in Kenya, because that's a huge platform of even creating employment, which is part of his 4 agenda. The youths are quite heavily involved now in filmmaking, and there's so many other opportunities in the film industry. We had interestingly very good support from the Ministry of Industrialization, because they are very keen on, because that's trade. Now sports, as I said, is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The film is also a big multi-dollar industry. So we've got 2 major sectors to put together. And so they found it quite exciting, and they have joined us also in one of the panel discussions where we are talking about commercialization of sports as a business. So it's very exciting. And of course, we've got huge support from the Kenya Film Commission. I'm also a board director for the last 1 year in that. And so a huge impact is now being made in the Kenya Film Commission. You will see that there's a lot of changes taking place. There's a lot of more funding that we are also providing to the film industry. More things are put in place. There's more innovation, more encouragement. And if people follow what Kenya Film Commission is doing now under the very ably CEO Timothy Ovase, there are a lot of changes that are taking place. So those are the key people. But the most disappointing, but I think I'm used to it now, is the Ministry of Sports. They had no courtesy of even responding to anything in terms of even writing a letter to them. And I think that's a ministry that unfortunately has been underplayed at the highest level. And it's sad that the people who are in that system have let this country and the sports industry down. And I think they should be ashamed of themselves of what they are doing. And I have no qualms about repeating 1,000 times.
And now, the big one, how is it that the public can follow the Kenya International Sports Film Festival that's going to be virtual this year?
Indeed. In fact, it's going to make it very easy to follow it, because it's, as you rightly said, it's a virtual film festival. All the 4-day program is going to be live streamed on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, and we're also using this platform called floor.bz. It's a phenomenal platform from India. And so those are the 3 platforms where people can follow all the 4 days. The programs are already on our social media pages, which movies we are showing at what time, what panel discussion is at what time. So the entire program is already on the social media pages.
All right. Thank you very much, Aasif Karim, for your
those
time.
Who either, just sorry, one more thing. For those who are interested in a particular subject and they've missed out due to other commitments, it will still be placed on our social media. However, the only thing that the viewers will not be able to see a repeat will be the movies. So any other panel discussions will be recorded, so they can always watch it at a convenient time on what was deliberated, but the movies cannot be kept on the media. But it's some very exciting movies, as I said. We have covered from various parts of the world. And so it will be a treat for the Kenyans. It'll be a welcoming through after all the 6-7 months that we've all gone through a trauma with COVID-19. This will be refreshing towards the end of the year that we're heading to. And it's something that hopefully will inspire everybody who's going to be watching and following this festival.
Thank you very much. Aasif Karim is the founder of the Kenya International Sports Film Festival. You want an easy reference for him sporting wise? He represented the country at the Cricket World Cup. He's played for Kenya at that and even captained Kenya at the Cricket World Cup, and also played Davis Cup tennis. Davis Cup is a World Cup of tennis, and they are organizing a sports film festival celebrating, telling stories about sportsmen throughout the world, and also conversations on things that affect us. Thank you very much, Aasif.
Thank you very much, and all the best to KBC and for the wonderful work, Daniel, you're doing. Thank you, and I hope you will follow it, the 4-day festival, and hoping that your network through the KBC will also support, which you have. This is the interview, and I really appreciate on behalf of the Safinas Foundation and the Kenya International Sports Film Festival for giving us this opportunity to share and to give the public what we are doing. So thank you, and God bless you.
All right, cheers. Thank you very much. All right, good. That's okay. That is good. Sawa sawa. Let me go work on it now.
We're good?
Yes, we're good.
Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate it. So I look forward to the link on WhatsApp.
Yes, I will send you the link.
All right, great.
All right.
I hope you enjoyed the interview.
Yeah, it's great. So I'll just go have it.
And thank you for doing a good job.
All right. Cheers. Asante san.
All the best.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Welcome. Thanks.
Cheers.